Our billionaire brother, yes, that billionaire, Jay-Z, might be in some serious hot water. Word on the street is that some of his latest money moves are turning heads, and not in a good way. People are starting to ask, are Jay-Z and Beyoncé running low on cash? Could this be the real reason Beyoncé's been grinding like never before, just recently wrapping up 4 back-to-back shows in Atlanta? That's not even counting all the other new projects she's been stacking up. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Folks are side-eyeing a recent move involving their infamous $88 million Bel Air mansion. Even though Jay and Bey are worth a jaw-dropping $3 billion combined, they just took out a massive $57.75 million mortgage on that same Bel Air estate. Add that to previous loans, and now they owe a whopping $110 million on that property alone. For a couple with that kind of wealth and a portfolio full of real estate gems, people are asking, why? They bought the Bel Air mansion back in 2017 for $88 million and kept it as their primary spot. But here's where it gets wild. They went on to drop $200 million in straight-up cash on what's been called the most expensive home in Malibu, and yet they didn't let go of the Bel Air crib. Apparently, it's still home because it's close to the kids' schools. But come on, taking out that kind of loan when they supposedly have billions? People are shook. Something just ain't adding up, and now the rumors are flying high. But now, here's where it gets even wilder. Jay-Z and Beyoncé's decision to keep that Bel Air mansion has locked them into another 30-year loan. This new mortgage comes with a 5% interest rate for the first 10 years. And guess how much that sets them back every month? A jaw-dropping $310,000. And that's on top of the first mortgage they took out 4 years ago. Another 30-year deal for $52.8 million through Goldman Sachs with a 3.5% rate, which costs them $226,901 a month. That's already more than $500,000 a month just in loan payments. Now, it's possible they took out that new mortgage to invest the cash elsewhere, maybe trying to flip it into something bigger than the 5% they're paying. But either way, they're still sitting on a total of $110 million in borrowed money. That's not small change. And we're not even done. There's the property tax. Just for owning that Bel Air estate, they owe $1.2 million a year. So tack on another $100,000 a month just for that. This doesn't even count what they pay for staff, upkeep, security, and other maintenance costs. Right now, the Carters are dishing out $637,000 every single month just on mortgage payments and taxes. And that's before all the other extras. People are looking at this and going, wait, why would billionaires be stacking debt like this? Especially since they originally borrowed $52.8 million to buy the mansion, then went back in 2021 to refinance with Goldman Sachs again for the same amount, and then added on another $57 million. Something's definitely got folks talking. This is way more than just normal spending. That $57.5 million loan they just took out in April this year? Yeah, that one's got people talking loud. Especially when you remember, this same couple dropped $200 million in straight-up cash for their Malibu mansion not too long ago. That purchase shattered records at the time. So how did they come up with that kind of money on the spot? But now they're out here remortgaging and refinancing their Bel Air estate and stacking up over $110 million in debt? It's got folks scratching their heads hard. Why borrow that much if you've got billions sitting in the bank? What's really going on behind those gates? People are starting to whisper, are Jay-Z and Beyoncé actually struggling financially? Now look, struggling for them isn't the same as for the average person, obviously. But even still, these moves have folks asking serious questions. Taking out a second mortgage? That's not just a casual choice. That means you're adding big time to your debt load, and fast. Fans and critics alike are wondering, is something going down that we don't know about? Anytime you pile on more debt, you're walking a fine line, and it gets risky fast. If something shakes up your finances and you can't keep up with payments, that debt can turn into serious trouble. And let's not forget, when you take out a home equity loan or a line of credit, you're putting your actual house on the line. That's your collateral. If you can't pay it back, the bank can come knocking, literally. Now here's the real catch. When you use home equity to cover other debts, you're not clearing your balance. You're just shifting it around. It might look smart short-term because the interest rate is lower, but that's only happening because your home is backing the deal. You're swapping out one loan for another, and that's what people are side-eyeing hard right now. There's a growing chorus online asking, why are they doing this? Taking money from one loan just to juggle another feels off. Some folks are even throwing around major accusations, talking about shady moves like, is this some kind of money laundering play? That's a heavy claim, but it's out there in the conversations. With Jay-Z and Beyoncé refinancing, borrowing, and stacking up loans left and right, the public can't help but wonder, what's really going on? Why all this financial maneuvering from billionaires? It's got people whispering. And more than a few are starting to call them broke, even if that word means something very different in their world. People are clowning online, saying things like, who's really out here touring for money now? Folks are dragging Jay-Z hard, talking about how he's got Beyoncé flying through the air every night, putting on these wild shows, even having the kids on stage just to keep things moving. One comment hit hard, Jay-Z, get ready to crumble. And to top it off, fans are warning Beyoncé stans to keep it cute because this situation is looking messy. Now, to be fair, some folks are pointing out that there are upsides to all this. Refinancing and borrowing against assets can help preserve liquidity, meaning they keep more cash on hand. Plus, there are tax benefits. Interest on mortgages can be deducted, and they might be trying to dodge capital gains taxes by not selling off big assets. So, yes, this could be part of a bigger wealth management strategy. But not everyone's buying that excuse. A lot of people think this move screams financial stress. That's why it's gone viral, because billionaires usually don't have to shuffle money like this unless something's off. Sure, it might not mean they're flat out broke, but it's clear things might be tight. Refinancing at this level, that's a risky financial decision, and it's got wealth experts debating whether it's a smart play or a sign of trouble behind the scenes. Whatever the truth is, this move has people watching real closely. Drop your thoughts in the comments because at this point, we need all hands on deck. And if you're an accountant, come on in too. This whole situation is wild, and while some believe it's a calculated strategic move, there's no denying the risk involved. I mean, buying one home with $200 million in straight cash and then turning around to refinance another, it's got everybody shook. No wonder this article blew up and went viral like wildfire. But wait, there's more. Reports are now claiming Jay-Z was actually denied a $115 million loan and a $55 million line of credit. Let that sink in. This man, who's supposed to be worth billions, couldn't get approved for major financing? That's throwing a whole new layer of suspicion into the mix. And then there's that video. Desiree Perez reportedly said Roc Nation was sitting in $40 million worth of debt and they were only saved recently. So clearly things were looking shaky behind the scenes for a while. This isn't just about flashy houses and big mortgages. There's a real financial backstory playing out here, and people are starting to connect the dots. Let's not forget, Beyoncé and Jay-Z's new $58 million mortgage on their Bel Air estate brings the total borrowed on that one property to $110 million. And on top of that, Jay-Z's legal battles are stacking up, from the Busby drama to the Ramir stuff. Legal fees, that's another beast draining the bank. This whole thing is way deeper than just headlines. There's serious money movement happening, and fans are watching every step. And let's not forget the financial losses Jay-Z's reportedly taken recently. Those hits are stacking up fast. All of this pressure is starting to paint a bigger picture. People are now asking, is this why Beyoncé's been secretly launching all these side projects? From her mystery film drops to that new alcohol line, she's been dropping something major every few months, like clockwork. Outside of the tours and the hype, Beyoncé is clearly the top earner at Roc Nation. She's basically become the financial backbone, the cash cow. That's why it feels like she's being pushed to keep producing, keep performing, and keep grinding nonstop. Some are even saying she's been forced to hop on the hamster wheel just to keep the empire afloat. It's like she's carrying the whole brand on her back. And that's what's got folks buzzing. Is this just wealth strategy or something deeper? Because from the outside, it's starting to look like a scramble, not a plan. These refinancing moves might be part of a management strategy, sure, but they're high risk. And when you line up all the loans, legal costs, and constant business rollouts, something just doesn't sit right. At the end of the day, no, they might not be going completely broke, but clearly there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. Honestly, saying they're flat out broke might be a reach, but let's not act like everything's smooth sailing either. The problems are definitely stacking up, and that's likely why these bold refinancing and mortgage moves are being made. We can't just brush it off. If this was a one-off headline, maybe folks could chalk it up to smart financial planning. But this ain't just one story. It's been nonstop for the past 6 to 8 months, especially when it comes to Jay-Z. He's been caught up in constant drama, rumors, lawsuits, even that recent robbery, and now that whole Stampede mess. Every other week, there's something new hitting the headlines. So yeah, the timing of these financial decisions feels less like wealth strategy and more like damage control. Now, at this point, it looks like they're making moves not just to grow their money, but to protect what's left. That's how the rich play the game. Stay ahead of the storm, guard your assets, and try to keep it all moving forward. But it's giving fear, real fear, like they're trying to seal the cracks before something bigger breaks. And that might explain why Beyoncé hasn't stopped working, why she's constantly got something cooking. After this run, people are already saying she's coming back strong with Act 3, possibly rock-themed, and then probably jumping into another genre right after that, with another tour lined up too. She's out here pushing like it's crunch time, non-stop, 24/7. And that speaks volumes. Man, this whole thing really makes you stop and think. Desiree Perez was literally caught on camera saying, with no hesitation, that they were sitting on $40 million in debt at one point. She openly admitted that Roc Nation was on the brink, and she was desperate. That's not some rumor, she said it with her full chest. So if they've already gone through serious financial struggles, why wouldn't they be making moves now to protect what they've got left? It actually makes sense. This refinancing and all these financial shifts could be Jay-Z's way of locking things down before things get worse. Word is he's preparing for more lawsuits to hit in the next couple of years. And if we're keeping it real, that could get very expensive. Just look at Diddy. He's already burned through tens of millions on legal fees alone. 10 million here, 30 million there. It adds up fast, and Jay-Z might be watching all of that unfold, knowing it could easily happen to him too. At this point, it's not just about money, it's about minimizing risk, avoiding liability, and staying a step ahead of the storm. And judging by these moves, Jay-Z clearly doesn't want to get caught slipping. He knows what's coming. And he's trying to armor up. He doesn't want investors pulling out, simple as that. Jay-Z even admitted himself that the Busby lawsuit alone cost him $20 million, gone. And on top of that, he's had major loans denied. So all these moves, they're not just whispers or speculation, this is coming from him. That's why so many people are putting the pieces together. When you zoom out and look at everything swirling around him right now, it's not hard to see the pattern. All of this, the refinancing, the borrowing, the nonstop projects, it starts to look like a strategy built on fear, on trying to dodge more financial fallout before it hits. Now don't get it twisted, I don't believe they're flat out broke, not yet, but it does look like they're taking big, risky steps to keep their fortune from slipping. It's about control, protection, and trying to stay ahead before the next wave crashes in. So what do you think? Is this survival mode or just smart money moves? Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. I really want to hear your thoughts on this one. Hit that thumbs up, it takes 1 second, and it really helps push the video out. Share it too if you're feeling it. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay tuned.